Yay, 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 yay. I'm even more excited than you can possibly imagine because um, yesterday, was that just yesterday? Wow. Yesterday, I was trying to get on to do a live to talk about Paul Selig's books, and I could not get on to save my life. So luckily, it wasn't important, and I just was like, okay, I guess I'm not getting on. Guess that's all perfect the way it is. So, welcome to journeying through A World Made New. And A World Made New is a book that is channeled by Paul Selig. It is actually his 12th book that he has channeled. And the reason why I wanted to get on yesterday is because I've had a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I would love to join you, but I haven't read the book. I haven't gotten the book yet. I don't even know what the book is about. And so I wanted to, first off, very first thing is to let you all know that you do not have to have read the book to even join us in like the end of the year, which we are still going to be doing this because I think there are something like um, 18 days, something like that in the book. I was hoping I was going to pop onto it real quick. Day 21. There are at least 21 days. So we are going to be working with this for a while. Not a requirement for you to have read the book in order to join me. Hey, Terry, it is great to see you. What an amazing day to have a book discussion and a healing circle. Awesome opportunity. So before I go any farther, casting a circle of light, specifying that only Source, Creator, God, and my healing team and the support teams is needed be present for tonight's book discussion and healing circle, where we're going to be looking at the book A World Made New, simply pages 7 through 12, and that is still the very first day of the book. We'll be talking about some of those concepts, some of the words they use, getting some healings around some of that stuff, and we're just going to keep trusting that however it shows up, it is exactly perfect in every way that it can, and we'll see what else happens along the way. So may it be with a blessing, blessing, blessing of Source, that we continue to know ourselves as word, divinity, and form. We continue to know everyone else also as word, divinity, and form. We continue to share love with each and every other, and to know that we are really all in community. With that, we say amen and aho. So, it has been a very busy week. It's been a very busy day. I don't know about you, but today has just been some kind of fascinating, interesting perspective. And I love that we get to celebrate the peaceful transfer of power from one president to another, and we get to be together tonight to celebrate that we live in a time, we live in a place where there is that peaceful transfer of power, regardless of which side of the aisle you stand on. So my name is Bonnie Sachs, and I have been teaching Paul Selig's works for a few years now. I did a podcast with a dear friend of mine, Joan Bowers. We did the podcast around the book The Kingdom, which I think was 369 was the ninth book, maybe. Boy, seems like I should remember that like that. We did an entire year of the book and had it as a podcast. So if that's something that interests you, I have also done I Am the Word, which is Paul's first book. We did that live in person, and I have done the Book of Love and Creation, which is the second book, and we did that online as well. So I really enjoy looking at Paul's books, and he channels the High Council of Source. He calls them the guides, and somewhere around the fifth, sixth, seventh book, he actually names them as Melchizedek, but he still calls them the guides, and so we just keep using that term, the guides. And so this is the 12th book, and in my opinion, it's the best. It is such a good book. There is not a time that I don't either pick it up and read it or listen to it, because I'll often listen to it when I walk, that I'm doing a little happy skippy dance at how good it is, how relatable the book is, and how it just seems to make so much more sense than any of his previous books. And I've read them all. So what we're going to do is we are here on Facebook until I get other information. I have been on Zoom for the last 2 years doing this sort of stuff, but we're here on Facebook every other Monday night. And every other Monday night, we're going to do a bit of the book. So the first time we did it, we did pages 1 through 7. Now we're doing 7 through 12. The next one that we do, I believe, is February 3rd. We'll be doing day 2 because it's about 12 pages. And after that, we'll just sort of see. So reminder that you don't need to have read the book in order to join us and chat about all of this stuff. So I really love that the page 7 starts off about who you are. And it's in the middle of day 1, and so they're just basically, okay, let's start talking about who you are. And the velocity of the tone you hold is actually your expression. And the expression you hold in vibration alters all things that it encounters. Who you are alters everything that it encounters. That's really not such like dramatic wisdom, like, oh my gosh, of course, if you are in a meeting of some kind, and your being there is going to alter what happens in that meeting. If you're not at that meeting, a totally different thing is going to happen. So it's really not a surprise that as we move through the world, we are altering what is happening around us. Now, from their perspective, why we are altering what is happening around us is because we are always the light. Every one of us is the light, and we're running around shining our light, bringing our light into the places that may need just a little bit more light. And so I love that they start talking about that right there. You know, that here we are being the light. We are, as they refer to it earlier, we are being the ambassadors. So if you find yourself in a place where you're like, not me, I don't think so, that doesn't relate to me, that's not my thing, I'm not being the light, happy to help you with the healing on that. Because whether you know it or not, you are. You have always been, and you can't be anything other. There's lots of opportunities for us to see that in this book. So it's awesome. Let's see. I wanted to. There you go. Okay. So Christ itself, monad, true self, all these terms. The guides use those terms regularly, interchangeably. Christ itself, the monad, the true self, are all ways of describing us as a higher self, as a soul, as a divine being. Not what we are in a body. And I love this book and how clear it is about that. Now, the aspect of you that thinks she knows all things is actually not the monad. It is the personality who has been indoctrinated in most ways to an idea of self that is sovereign. But the personality self is not sovereign. It thinks it is. The only aspect of you that is truly sovereign is the divine. How about that? I think I'm in charge. I think I am the one that's making the decisions around here. I'm going to decide whether I take that job. I'm going to decide whether I move to another state. I'm going to make a decision. And part of what they are saying to us is that me, the personality, isn't actually making that decision at all. We are being led by our higher selves, by our divine selves, when we're willing to surrender the steering wheel and allow that to happen. So, healings for all of us where we have more steering wheels to surrender. There are a lot of steering wheels around, and I have 3 or 4 of them that I can surrender right now. So I'm going to go ahead and surrender more of those. Now, how do you surrender a steering wheel? Well, it depends. What is your thing? What is the, oh, I need to be in control of this situation. I need to manage this. I need to handle, be in charge, whatever word you want. What is it for you that you are constantly like, nope, I need to be in charge. Nope, I need to win. Nope, I need to be at the forefront of this. I need to pay attention to this. If I don't pay attention, something bad is going to happen. All of those are ways to see where we are trying to control, manage what is going on, instead of just going, okay, I surrender. However it happens, whatever unfolds, I'm going to trust how it shows up. It's not the easiest thing, man. I spend a lot of time going, but what's going on? And I really want to say what the is going on, right? Because I think it should look like this. I think it should be really easy. I think if I'm going to get the information that I'm supposed to post on Instagram, that it's going to be wicked easy, drop in like that. And I have to keep reminding myself that there's really no growth in that. Guess when it's easy, there's not always growth. So, where you have some steering wheels that you do not want to let go of. I have one in my throat, and I most definitely have one back here in my brainstem. And oftentimes it just shows up as fear. What are people going to say or think or do? What if I'm not enough? What if all you can do is what you're here to do? Do that and trust how it shows up. So when we release some more steering wheels, we get an opportunity to release more doubt, more, oh, am I doing it right? Is this really working out? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Maybe I was supposed to make a left at the stop sign. Oh, crap. Maybe it wasn't tonight. Oh, did I miss it? We go into doubt. And if we can talk to ourselves enough, we can get into fear like, oh my God, I'm going to get in so much trouble. What if I've screwed this up? What if? Very, very rarely is it as bad as we think it is. So one of the cool things that they talk about in the very beginning of the book, they talk about us not being bound by history or language. And noticing where we use language that is keeping us restricted, keeping us in a lane, keeping us thinking smaller. I have noticed that a lot recently in the language that I use, sometimes being 58 years old, with my birthday coming up in like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So I start adding years to myself, like, oh, I'm not 58, I'm 59. That I sometimes use language from when I was a teenager. I sometimes use language when I was in my 20s. And sometimes that makes me laugh because I realize how small it is. The thoughts of like time periods before there was the internet and we were only communicating by phone, and then we started communicating by pager. Those things that make us small. History and language. There are things that make us small, keep us small. So you just watch that. Oh, look, there's one of those examples of history. Historical data making me small, keeping me small. I don't want to do that. Okay, so see, we got through page 7. So at the top of page 8, they talk about how, just what I said, our personality is busy saying, no, I must be in charge. I must have my way. I must be the king upon the throne, the queen upon her throne, at the cost of all others. I don't care what your opinion is. I'm in charge. But they remind us that once we release that, there's a lot more available to us. A lot more available to us. We start aligning to our higher selves. We start aligning to the truth of who we are. There's endless possibilities for creating what we want. Once you understand that your true expression is the divine, and you begin to operate in full force as this expression, while the personality self is still present, succumbs to its true role, the aspect of you that has experience, that learns through things, that makes small choices, you will have a world that is suddenly in co-creation with the divine that has come as your expression. What? What? I do that too. Just in case you read something and you're like, I don't understand that. Once we remember that we are a higher self having an experience in a body, and that our body, our personality, thinks we're in charge, once we have that awareness, some people would say once we bring in more consciousness, we're suddenly able to go, oh, wow. If I remember that I'm not my judgment, and if I remember that I'm not my fear, and if I remember that I'm not all the unconscious thoughts I have, wow, I suddenly feel free to be however I show up. Does that make sense? Being in co-creation. I got a message today from somebody who said, I'd really like to know how to manifest what I want. I really want the perfect job, and it hasn't shown up yet. And I'm starting to get really nervous that the perfect job is not going to show up for me, and that I'm going to be running out of money. And then they continued on that vein. And as I listened to them talk, I was aware that it's very easy for us to start down the path of what we want, how it looks, what it's supposed to be. And before we get too far down that path, we can be in a lot of fear. We can be in a lot of lack. We can start getting ourselves worked up that it hasn't shown up yet, as opposed to standing right where we are and looking at what is available to us and checking in is a term that I use. Like, is that a job for me? Even though I have this idea that this is what my ideal job looks like, am I taking the one that's right here in front of me? And if I am taking the job right here in front of me, I can still have what is over here is my ideal job, but this one right in front of me is getting me what I need right now. And then I'm not in fear, and then I'm not in lack, and then I'm not worried that the right job isn't going to show up. Yeah, so lots of healings there for us, where we want to go down that path and say, I don't trust how it shows up. I'm not sure that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So we just keep moving more of that out for all of us. All right. Keep trusting it. So fascinating. Just keep trusting how it all shows up and where that is. So let me just take a moment and look. Where am I not trusting? Oh, right here on my sternum. Move more of that. I so want to start saying, I must not have done something right. All right. Such an opportunity. So here's a concept that they talk about on page 9, which I just think is really, there's times when I read this book that I just go, oh my God, it's so good. It's so reasonable. It's so easy to understand. They're talking about this right at the first full paragraph. Now, this is not a wonderland. In most ways, it's the world you've known, but from a very different viewpoint and a highly different experience. They're talking about when you start letting go of some of the ideas you have that you have to be in charge, that you have to manage things, that, if you don't handle it, it's not going to get done. We're talking about allowing yourself to be a little bit more trusting of how things show up in your life. A little bit more willing to just go, okay, so this is how it's showing up. I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to trust that how this situation is showing up is exactly what I need right now. So I'm having a whole experience right now because I don't have a lot of people showing up to this healing circle, and I'm busy having a conversation in my head that it's because I didn't send out enough announcements, that I didn't put enough posts up, that it is the inauguration, that there's something important happening, that I must be in a different place. Like, I could just go on and on with all the possibilities that are running through my head. Now, as I experience it, I get to teach it. I get to say, like, oh, look at all this stuff, all these scenarios that are running in my head that aren't necessarily true, any of them. It could be a whole nother piece, including the healing that's available when you have that experience. So keep taking the healings and understanding that we're still in the world having an experience, and we can also recognize that we are here knowing, oh, I am a higher self and there's something to learn from this experience. Here's the part I love. Your experience of all things is greatly diminished, far more than you can imagine, through the boundaries that you have erected between yourself and God, or if you wish, the source of all things. You understand yourself in location through body, whereas consciousness operates beyond location and well beyond body. So, we have this experience of being in bodies. I am here sitting at my table in my house in South Florida having an experience. But is that all I'm having? Or is there a part of me that's also flying through cosmoses and working on projects all around the cosmoses? Is it possible? Yes. And is it like more than I can imagine? Yes. And I get to take a healing on the place where I think this is all there is. Here I am. This is all there is. Because it's not. We're so much more than we can imagine. You know those dreams you have at night? Most of them are messages from your higher self, but some of them are experiences that you're actually having on the astral as your higher self while the body sleeps. Mind-blowing, right? I have to tell you, there's times I sit there and go, really? I don't know. I'm not sure if I believe that. And then I go, oh yeah, that's right. I get to take a healing on that. There's a healing available where I think that this is all there is. This is all there is. It is not. It is not all there is. The field that you hold in its truly expressed state, the high octave of the upper room, is more vast than you can imagine, and everything it touches will be lifted through this presence. Who you are is way more vast than you can possibly imagine, possibly fathom. It's everybody, every single person, more than you can imagine. So what are we doing here? Let's get some healings done. What's up for you? What are you experiencing? Are you a little triggered by all this stuff? By these words? By the text? Are you a little triggered by what's happening in the world? TikTok is working. TikTok is not working. TikTok is working again. Oh my goodness. Lots of healing opportunities for us. I had time when like my Instagram was fine and then my Instagram wasn't. And I was like, what is going on? And then I sorted through that mess, and then I had another mess of not being able to get on. It works, it doesn't work, it works, it doesn't work, it works, it doesn't work. What? That's an awesome healing to take. Let's take a healing on that. Where is it that we get really worked up about what's going on? Oh, the list is so long. So long. So, awesome healings. When I look into the container, there's lots of healings for unworthiness. There's lots of healings for unconsciousness. Lots of healings available for fear. 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 Not related to the book, but fear is a frequency, a low frequency, a dense frequency. And there is a lot of it around right now. There is a lot of confusion, a lot of anger, a lot of. And so I was talking to my husband a couple hours ago, and I was joking. It was kind of like, I only played this a few times, Mario Kart. And in Mario Kart, as you're racing around, there's always things being thrown out into the road. You know, there's banana peels and things that you have to go around and navigate through and all of that. And that's a lot of what it feels like right now is a crazy game of Mario Kart where we're just trying to go about our day, and we're just constantly navigating through fear and pain and anger and unworthiness and shame and blame, and there's just a lot going on. So if you feel like that is you, know that you can just simply ask for some help with that. You can actually put your hand out, you can ask for a gift, and you can get a gift to help you move more of that fear. Now, I get that's a little odd. It's a little weird, but that's okay. You can do it. So you can ask for a gift. If it makes it easier, you can ask for a sphere or an orb. You can ask for a mandala. You can ask for a cube. And you can ask for something with more love in it, with more grace in it. You can ask for whatever it is you feel like you need right now. It doesn't have to be a specific word. And just more high frequencies. Help me heal that. Putting that right into my throat. Okay. So, why do we incarnate? Why do we incarnate? Why are we here? Feels like the eternal question. Why are we here? What are we doing here? There are a lot of answers, and all of them are correct, whatever works for you. If you are here just having a singular experience, this is one life, and then when I die, I'm gone, that's it, perfect. If there is some other answer, if you have an answer that's related to religion, perfect. If you have an answer that is like, this is just the blink of an eyelash, it is no big deal, I'm just here to get this checked off my list, that's great too. Now, one of the things they talk about in A World Made New is the reason you incarnate is not to become better people or more spiritual. It's to re-know yourself as you have always been. Re-know yourself as you have always been. What the heck does that mean? Re-know myself as I've always been. Well, let's just assume that we're talking about re-knowing ourselves as the beings that are doing things in the vastness of the cosmos. Let's talk about the beings that aren't making mistakes, the beings that are here doing whatever it is we're doing for the experience, for our growth and evolution. That's what we're here to remember, to re-know ourselves as those that are here having an incarnation so that we remember who we are. We remember that we're not the fear, we're not the pain, we're not the trauma, we're not the anger, we're not any of those things. We're just here having an experience in a body to remember that we are a being of light that is so much more amazing than we can remember. Every one of us. Oh, there's the healing available. We are an amplification of the divine. We are an amplification of the divine, and we are busy taking the frequency of the planet up, trusting that the frequency of the planet is going up with all that we're doing, with all the love that we're putting out. So we're just going to take a couple moments to just put some more love out. Into the field. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of people that are in fear right now, worried about what's going to happen to their livelihood, worried about their families, worried about themselves. Melchizedek, let's keep clearing that fear out. All things are in vibration, and they're actually vibrating at a higher tone than you know. All the stuff that is going around on the planet right now, it's actually vibrating at a higher frequency than you know. Well, how is that, Bonnie? Well, how do you explain this? The speed of light. By the time the light gets to us, it's already some crazy amount of years past. By the time the light gets to us, it's already crazy amounts of time past us. Same is true of the time that we're living in right now. Sometimes I like to think that I'm actually like standing in a time period and we're actually like 100 years ahead of time. And it's so much more. Yeah. Your ideas of self, still so diminished by past history, would seek to refute this. So we come in a way that will support all of you in true recognition, not only of your birthright, but the shared idea that you are all one, have always been one, and indeed can only be. Truth is truth, whether it's not what you wish to hear. Truth is truth, whether it's not what you wish to hear. An individuation, the raindrop, if you wish, is still of the storm. And the storm is still of nature. And nature is still of source. What is that you learn in math? A equals B equals C equals D, then A equals D. The raindrop is still of source. You are still of source. These are the ways that you discriminate, that you label, that you name things, to high use in some ways and to your detriment in others. The things we label, oh, that is bad. Oh, God, can you believe they did that? Oh, that is ugly. Oh my goodness, what were they thinking when they did that? Oh, well, I'm a woman. Oh, I'm a wife. Oh, I don't do those kinds of things. Oh, I have kids. I have to do this. This is how I should be. This is how it's supposed to go. All those things are ideas that we have. And we are so much more than those ideas. We are so much more than those judgments that we have. It is true you are a man or believe yourself to be a man while you operate in a body, or a woman if you prefer, or a child if you prefer. It really doesn't matter. But these are ways of knowing the self in limitation in expression. Your divine expression exceeds gender, exceeds age, exceeds ethnicity. Although you may experience yourself through all these things. The true experience of being that we will promise you here, underline the word promise, is that you have come to be who you have always been. You have come to be who you have always been. You have always been a divine being of light. Always. You were created that way. And in every experience you have ever had, you have remained that divine being of light. Yeah, we spent lots of time thinking we weren't because people around us didn't think they were. So we didn't think we were. And I got that math problem wrong, so I must be less than. And I thought I was supposed to go left and I went right, so there must be something wrong with me. It is so not true of any of us. We have come to be who we have always been. And as we keep moving out the fear, the pain, the anger, the unworthiness, the shame, the blame, all the unconsciousness, the atheist energy, as we keep moving all those things out, we have an opportunity to go, wow, I am so much more than I imagined. And so are you. You're more than the story that you've been telling yourself. You are more than the story that your parents told you. You are more than any experience that you've had here since the moment you came onto the planet. You are so much more. And that is part of what we are busy making new. Behold, I make all things new. I'm in that sentence. Behold, I make all things new. I am transforming more of the ideas that make me think that I'm not enough. Those ideas of what my mom said to me, probably in anger and fear and in her own unworthiness. Those comments that my teachers made because they were frustrated and tired and distressed, overloaded, overworked. And they made me believe that I wasn't enough, that if I didn't get this grade, if I didn't write this kind of paper, if I didn't blah, blah, blah. But it's not true. It's not true of any of us. Behold, I make all things new. Here's the healing for all of us where we go, oh, sure, you can say that. And then what? You think it suddenly transforms things? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. Because I can see the key codes. I can see the healing. I know that this book is a healing in itself. I had to laugh because I had a dear friend of mine send me a text and say, hey, I watched your video last week and I noticed I was getting a little bit of a cold. So you said that I could take the book and the book was a healing and I could put the book on me and I would get a healing. And so I did that. I said, what happened? She goes, oh, I feel a little better. Okay. It's true. This book and all of those books are encoded. They have overlays on them. Healing alchemy overlays on them. And you can hold them up and you can give yourself a healing. Wow, I have so much judgment. I'm just going to give myself a healing. How about that? Absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. Behold, I make all things new. So, I do want to tell you before we go, I want to let you know that there are some words that appear in this, just in pages 7 through 12, that they're going to talk about over and over and over again. And the word re-known is one of those words they talk about over and over and over again. Made new, reclaimed, resurrected in the octave of expression that is the manifestation of the Christ. Remade, reclaimed, resurrected. Renown. I am renowned. Feel free to use that anytime you would like. I am renowned. I am renowned. I am renowned. It's an awesome healing opportunity. Renowned. It uses several frequencies that are healing, high frequencies. Reclamation. Reclamation is a beautiful lime green frequency that helps us heal more atheist energy. Atheist energy. Reclamation. Atheist energy says energy isn't real. If energy isn't real, we have nothing to create with. There's no ideas. There's no possibilities. There's no creativity. Yeah, let's heal more of that. Resurrection. Now, resurrection is a frequency that truly triggered me a lot when it first came onto the planet. It is sapphire blue, and it is a 12th level frequency of worthiness. Worthiness. Resurrection. Sapphire blue. And it is absolutely beautiful. And the more resurrection frequency that you put in your body, the more worth you have, the more you know your worth. It's a really cool frequency. So back to that orb, back to that cube, whatever it is, your gift, you could say, can I have a gift with more reclamation and more resurrection in it, please? I'd also like some silver and some green and some purple. You can do that. And then if you want, you can just ask, show me what it is. And so I see these like little sparks going off. I don't see in great detail, but I see enough to be like, that's dang cool. Where am I going to put that? I'm going to put that right here in my frontal lobe. Trust, trust, trust. Trust, trust, trust. So we have reclamation, we have resurrection, we have realization. Realization is another frequency that we have already. I don't have it marked. Realization. Somewhere in the text they use that what stands before you today in a realized state. Realization. So orangey gold. Awesome frequency. And truth. Truth is truth. Truth is truth. Truth is gold. It is the color of source. Truth is truth. Gifts for all of us with those frequencies in it. While I've been talking, there's been lots of gifts coming in, lots of healing opportunities available for all of us. Huge love and blessings for all of you. Trust yourselves. Trust yourselves with how things show up. Trust whatever shows up until something new shows up. I have a claim of truth that I have been using a lot. It is in this book. It's on page 21, right at the top of the page. There's realization. The realization that you are more than you think must come to you now as realization. not as a new idea that you can play with, but a simple knowing. Here you go. I am more than I thought. I am more than I believed. I am more than I was taught. I am more than I believed could be, beyond what any idea was that I ever believed about who anyone could be. I am more than I thought. I am more than I believed. I am more than I was taught. I am more than I believed could be, beyond what any idea was that I ever believed about who anyone could be. It's beautiful. You are so much more, so much more. Trust, trust, trust. Lots of love and blessings to you, to your families. If there's anything I can do to help you all, please send me a text. Let me know how I can help, because I am available for you. With that, I seal the field unto the light of that one true source creator God, the one who is all the magic, all the love, all the joy, all the support. I thank my healing team. I thank all the support teams. And I thank each and every one of you who show up to make it just a most amazing time. I can't imagine doing any of this without all of you. So huge love and blessings to you, to your families, to all. With that, we say amen and aho. I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you in 2 weeks.